Welcome, everyone. I'm your host, Money Making Mando, with another episode of Real Estate Deli, where we cut through all the noise and deliver actionable insights straight to you and make the information the star. And today we have a special guest, someone close to my heart that I just connected with recently, Michael Mnatsakanian, an officer, a gentleman, a father, a husband, an awesome dude. Michael, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Money Making Mando. Appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate you for coming on. I have a short story to interject. We've connected. We were coming back from our mastermind that we belong to in Paces Mastermind on community camp, and I believe it was September.
Yes.
And you were doing a drive, and you said, "You know what? Let me hit up some of the people in the mastermind just to make my trip a little shorter instead of listening to music or whatever it is you was doing." And I happened to go on there and I saw, all right, let me hit Michael up. So I did. I introduced myself. Then I asked him, Michael, can you come on my podcast? And he was like, how many episodes you done? I was like 5 or 6. I was like, hit me back when you're at 20. And to be so super transparent, I felt a little certain type of way at the moment, right? And then I quickly transitioned to what I wanted to the moment to become. I said, you know what? Michael presented me a challenge and I'm going to accept it, even though he didn't know, right? He just gave me a purpose to continue doing these pods and to be able to one day reach out to him and say, hey, 21, you're here. And when we were at Mastermind a couple of weeks ago, he was not sitting too far away from me in one of the recesses. I went up to him and he remembered. He said, yep, 21. So, Michael, I appreciate you in a certain type of way. Thank you again, brother, for providing that oomph for me to continue.
Thank you, brother. I mean, that's a huge thing for me is like, I think a lot of people talk and I love action. I love action about everything else. So it's like, hey, why don't we do things that are action driven? For example, like, what do they say? I think it's the reason for 21 is I think like 5% of podcasts ever make it to 21 episodes. So I said, a lot of people ask me to do this. So let's see Mando, who I know is crushing with his podcasts. You tell me when you're in the top 5% of people taking action. I don't care about the results. I care about that you're putting in the action. We can't control results, but we can control our actions. Once Correct. You get to that action of 20 plus, I would love to be your 21st guest or 21 and above, whatever it is. And you like rose to the challenge, right? You said, you know what? Like you said, the way I communicate is very direct, sometimes a little too blunt.
I love it.
You took that as a challenge, said, hey, you know what? Screw it. Either screw it in spite of him, I'm going to get to 21, or because of him, I'm going to get to 21. So either way, I loved it. So thank you. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for having me on, brother.
Yeah, and it worked both ways. I was a little sour, then I turned it into sweetness, right? Because I said, again, we're in a place that our community, this is what we do, right? We just drive each other with purpose in the right way. So you just know how to quickly transform that energy, right? Because it's energy, right? So again, thank you again for providing me that purpose. So again, Michael, what drove you into the industry? What drove you into real estate? What was that on?
I'll start this off by saying I don't care about real estate. I actually kind of hate houses. However, I always wanted to do one thing, and I wanted to be financially free. And there's 2 specific reasons for that. I've always believed that financial freedom and time freedom would allow me to be the best husband and father. Like there would be no excuse why I couldn't be the best husband and father. And I love our planet. I love all the amazing opportunities, all the amazing food, all the amazing adventures. And I knew I wanted to be able to explore the world with no constraints, no financial constraints and no time constraints. But really, why did I care about financial freedom since day one? Like it was people ask about like, what is the job you want to do? What is this? I always wanted 2 things, to be financially and time free, but also to help other people. And a big part of that is my mom, bless her soul, worked so hard. She immigrated into America, which was my lottery ticket, right? Thankfully, I was not born in Armenia because even right now it's undergoing war literally at this exact moment. And my mom, because she came here and was a single mom, right? She had to work 2 to 3 jobs throughout my entire childhood. Even now, she still works 2 jobs actually, which she's transitioning out of, helping her retire within the next 12 months, which is amazing. But she worked 2 to 3 jobs throughout my entire childhood just to barely make ends meet. And my mom, like I said, was amazing. And she was very intentional with her time that she spent with us. I remember going to the zoo, rollerblading, going to the beach, just a bunch of amazing things. Not a lot of money spent, but she spent so much time and energy and effort to make sure our childhood was quality. But the problem with the intentionality is that was rarely ever It's not that she wasn't present every time she was present. The problem was she didn't have the opportunity to be around a lot because she had to make ends meet. Otherwise, what are we going to do? You can't do anything if you don't have enough money to make ends meet. So then I always knew I was going to be financially free. So I never had the time or money constraints holding me back from being a phenomenal husband and father. Because I think that's one of my biggest purposes in this world, to be a great dad and a great husband. So I said, okay, cool. I'm going to learn a lot about this. I was going to invest in the stock market for 45 years, eventually have a couple $1 million and retire. That was going to be the end of it until I started learning about real estate investing. And while I was working full-time as an environmental engineer shortly after college, after I graduated college, I took a part-time job as a leasing specialist in the evenings because I had a connection. They needed someone to come in and work a few hours a day, a few hours in the evening. I said, you know what, fine, I'm young. I can work long days. My mom did it for a long time. And this would help me learn about real estate. The actual job itself basically taught me nothing, like virtually nothing. Like just it taught me that I never wanted to manage my tenants directly. It taught me that, people will, whatever. I don't want, like I said, I'm not a huge fan of real estate in itself. I'm a fan of what it does for me. But what did blow my mind with my job there was the young owners came in one evening, and they came in and we started connecting because they're like, oh, awesome, you're here. We're just talking about each other's stories and all that. And I started learning about their story. And what they were doing was they were buying large multifamily properties, using other people's money, renovating them, increasing the rents, refinancing them, pulling all the money out, paying back their partners, and now they own this asset. I never in my life dreamed I would ever do anything like that or get nearly that scale, but it opened my eyes to, holy crap, this thing is possible. And this thing I don't need to wait 45 years. I have total control. My money is not a limiting factor to me become financially free. So then I started diving all into real estate because that leverage component, plus the tax benefits, plus all these other benefits, but that leverage part of it, I didn't need to use my own money. I could use banks' money, other people's money, whatever would allow me to be financially free much quicker and at a much higher level than I could have ever imagined through the stock market. So that was the entire, I guess, flow, what got me started into real estate investing, where I went all in,
Yeah, those are invaluable lessons that you got to observe, that you got your perspective of your mom, right? That you said, wow, this is not what I want. I want something different. And you were able to then create that. The universe put you in surroundings that you can see the vision that you wanted, right? So that was an incredible connection that you got to really then see, oh, this is the vehicle. This might be it, right? So you got to see that. So now that you saw that, now that you're in the real estate space, what are some of your wins that you've experienced that you would like to share?
I'll explain kind of two of them at a high level. I'm not going to go into specific deals and all that. I have that on my social media, at Michael Mnat on Instagram, whatever.
My brother.
Follow me on there if you want to know specifics about my deals. I literally go live twice a week through a variety of channels to help people understand deals themselves. But the biggest win, I am so privileged that I am financially free at 30 years old. Technically, I was financially free at 27. We'll probably dive into that later, but I'm truly financially free at 30 years old. I own over 60 properties worth around $20 million. I'm generating $20,000 plus a month in cash flow, passive income, and I'm getting almost $80,000 of ownership benefits added to my net worth every single month because of debt pay down, properties appreciating, and I pay zero in taxes. If that's not a win, I don't know what is. And that win was the result of 4 years of incredibly hard and efficient work to get there. It did not take me 45 years to make $2 million through stocks. All this was accomplished in 4 years, where the last 2 years of being extremely intentional. That is number one win. And I'm happy to dive into any part of that if you'd like. And I have maybe a side win in addition to that I'd like to share.
Listen, everyone, if you guys listen to the hack, the man did it in under 5 years, right? As he mentioned, with intentionality, right? So all these things are possible. Anyone can literally do it. I'm bringing to you someone that has actually done the work, went through the experiences, right? And knocked his head, I'm sure, tons and tons of times. What am I doing? Is there any traction happening, right? I'm sure these things happen, but you kept on going, right? Go ahead, interject.
I was going to say, limiting beliefs. Do I deserve this? Can I handle this? I was afraid to succeed. I was afraid to fail. Every single mindset issue you could overcome. And I do want to talk about that in a bit. And I'll be honest with you. The reason why I say 60 plus properties, 20 plus million, 20K a month cash flow, 80K of net worth. I'm not trying to flex on anyone. That literally is the exact opposite. I'm trying to be the one of the very few people in this entire industry, this entire world, who is transparent about the numbers. So you know what is actually possible if you put in the work. It's literally, it's not for me. Like, I don't care. It makes no difference for me that you know these numbers. What it does do is hopefully encourage you what you can get done and maybe even faster time than I did, which is amazing.
No, what it is the reality of what's happening, right? These are just numbers. So people kind of see it as something vain, right? Because that's kind of where their mindset might be at. Oh, this guy, no, this is literally granularly telling you this is the outcome of the output that I've put in. And this happens to be what's happening. Literally, I'm just giving you exactly what's happening so you can actually see it and have kind of a carrot to chase to say, hey, I know I can do this as well, right? And Michael is a prime example of that. And Michael also has a community that he started where you can have access to him and his lessons, his calculators, all these opportunities if you join his school community as well. And we'll get into that as well. But yeah, dude, it's an awesome journey that you've been on, literally a short journey, and you've accomplished so much. But I'm sure in your head, you're like, wow, I've been ups and downs and nights and, writing deals, underwriting, and what am I doing? I'm sure you've been through a lot that the people don't see, right? You don't see the hard work, the grind, right? That stuff is not documented. You could only be able to tell your story of those experiences that you went through, right?
And that's what my second win that I want to highlight, that's in conjunction with this one. Like you said, very few people know how hard I worked to get to this point, but that hard work translated so amazingly to where I'm at in life now, where it's not only that I'm financially free, but I have the lifestyle design to do whatever I want from wherever I want and to continue building this thing. It's honestly, I presented the number. This is just the start of everything, right? Like, I'm continually buying 1 to 2 investments every month. I work less than 4 hours a day from literally anywhere in the world. As long as there's internet, I can do what I need to do. And the best part is I'm helping other people do the same. It's like I'm helping and growing my wealth. Like, I can't even ask for a better scenario right now in life. And I'm 30. I got the best yet to come in front of me.
Dude, your life is so filled with purpose. It's incredible for your age, right? To be where you're at, to actually live this life that you're living now. It's a total blessing. It is incredible. And I could tell you, because I'm a little older and I just didn't fathom these experiences at 30 years old. So kudos to you that you had that mindset and then you saw a vision and you did it, right? So again, it's an amazing. That's why I love connecting with you. You bring so much positive energy and so much inspiration that it can be done. Literally can be done. Thank you.
I love to highlight, and this is new. I've never thought of it like this. Actually, my mentor, Pace Morby, our mentor, Pace Morby, made me reflect on this, that my trauma, what I went through as a child, became my superpower to then live this lifestyle that I am now, that I live in now. It's like converting trauma into a superpower is like this incredible thing that I was able to do, accomplish what I did, and now help other people do the same thing, trauma or not. You don't need to go through that to succeed, but it's amazing. You took that, and instead of wallowing in it, I took it and then made this amazing life for myself and for everyone else who just wants to do the same thing.
Yeah, it's amazing. And thank you for the great segue, because I text Pace this morning, actually, and I said, Pace, I'm having Michael on the pod today. Is there anything that you would love to ask him? And he said, yes. So he posed the question. So the question is for you, right? What's the next version of you has to sacrifice in order to reach the man you want to become?
Oh God, you see why he is the best mentor in the entire world? I'm actually about to cry, because the thing about sub 2 and all that, and I'll talk about this with my losses. I thought I was joining to learn a little bit about creative financing, sub 2 this, seller finance that. Pace Morby has single-handedly changed my entire life to be a better husband, to be a better father, to be a better person, be more go-giving, to be such an amazing human being that is just helping other people along the same journey. Doesn't mean we're not all winning and profiting from it collectively, right? I wrote on my board from the other day, the best part of our community is we work together and we do deals together, right? That's one of the many amazing parts of our community. Yes. And he embodies that above everyone else. And he encourages our growth above everyone. There's no one like him, and there's no one that is so supportive like him. I'm sorry, I don't mean to fanboy, but I'm
again, it's just a fact. It's just you're just saying the truth, right? He's liberated us. He's awakened stuff in me that's been dormant for years, right? He just brings a light into your life. This is all true. This is all literal experiences that we've had the pleasure of experiencing just being around him. And you tell no lie, brother. He's an incredible human being, and he just he does all this for all of us, and it's such a blessing. I told myself this morning, I text Pace this morning, and he texts me back. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, who has this privilege to be in the surroundings that you have those opportunities? I was so grateful just for that. Be like, to literally text him, and I got a response back. I was just blown away. Like, is this real? Is this happening?
The busiest man ever. And like, one thing I want to highlight, like, and I need you to repeat the question after this because I've derailed.
No, I will.
With a single mom, right? I did not have a male role model. I did not know what it looked like to be a great father, to be a great husband. And even more importantly, as someone who's very entrepreneurial, I definitely didn't think it was even possible to do all those things and be successful financially outside of, the people who are like, I'm going to grind in the corporate world, 16-hour days just to make a bunch of money. It's like, dude, no, like, you design your lifestyle. And look, the most busiest person I've ever met in my entire life, I can't even imagine someone more busy, truly busy than Pace and more productive, who then also texts us back, communicates with us quite frequently, invites us to amazing opportunities, and then dedicates so much quality time to his children, his wife, date night. Like, he's not just encouraging us to go buy real estate. It's like, dude, when's the last time you take your wife on a date? Get your ass, like, you don't come back in here until you take your wife on a date and then go take your kids to go do something fun with them and then tell me about that. Otherwise, I don't want to talk to you right now. Like, literally, like, that is so amazing and changed my entire life because I did not have and do not really have a lot of role models. And to have the best, it's like, dude, thank goodness I stumbled upon,
I call it a journey of self-discovery through real estate. Literally, it's what it is, right? And because it, like, you have encompassed in what you just said, everything that's about, and then real estate, right? And then there's kind of a business built interwound into all these things, but it's so much more than, it's like I said, it's like self-discovery, literally, through whatever instrument it is, and our instrument happens to be the real estate sector. But let me repeat the question, right? What's your next version of you has to sacrifice in order to reach the man you want to be?
And see, that's an amazing thing too. Like, that kind of question is not like, oh, okay, you're done, you're retired, you're good, you're game over. It's like, no, dude, how are you going to be better than you are now? How are you going to have new problems, new things? So what is the version of, what are the sacrifices you need to make to be the version? So I need to get much better at helping people collectively rather than individually. I love nothing more than getting to know people individually, to get to understand where they're currently at and how I can help them very specifically. But if I really have my goals of trying to help as many people as possible, truly achieve financial freedom, I need to get better with my time management and more effective with educating and helping people in a group environment, not just doing it individually and one-on-ones. As I even mentioned to our Owners Club community today, Pace lit another fire underneath me. Yesterday, we had this most amazing Zoom, and it's like, if I want to accomplish the things that I want and I want to maintain the lifestyle that I have, I need to understand that I'm going to have to sacrifice things I enjoy, some things that I enjoy, not everything, right? But my non-negotiables, never sacrifice that. My family, my friends, my love for travel and adventure, cooking good food. I'm not sacrificing that. But if I truly want to help people, I need to be more efficient about that. And if that means I have to sacrifice some one-on-ones so that I have more time to collectively help people, well, that is a big iteration of this next journey. I also have to do more of my self-discovery, identify more of my, who I am as an individual, so I can help more people with similar struggles that I had and I'm currently overcoming over and over again. So those are two big ones I think I would highlight right there.
Yeah, those are incredible. Thank you, Pace, for the question. And yes, I guess is, again, those efficiencies, right, that you want to just tighten up, literally tighten up and sacrifice. And these are lessons that you listen, like today, yesterday, I'm a big avid coffee drinker, right? I drink it like it's water. I said, this has to stop, right? I said, no. And today literally was the first day in years that I haven't had coffee yet. The day's not over, but I haven't had coffee yet. I said, you know what? I'm start drinking tea. Again, these are things that, again, you self-discovery and challenging yourself to new things and new adventures, right? And new ideas. And it's so fun to do it, right? And you go through the struggle. Oh man, I need a cup of coffee. Before I got on, I said, oh man, I wish I had a cup of coffee, and I made some tea, right? Again, just always trying to evolve, right? Constant elevation causes expansion, I say all the time.
And you did not give in to your craving, whether it's maybe you'll get back to coffee or whatever, but it's like either way, you made a commitment, whether it's right or wrong, you made a commitment and you stuck through with it. You could always change, like we're human beings.
Sure.
We can take in more information, we could adapt and all that, but you made a commitment and you follow through with it, which is one of the most incredible things we can do. And that's a huge part of this whole journey is delaying gratification, sacrificing for the short term, for the long-term benefits. It's like literally, even me, my whole job is to make financial freedom as simple as possible for people. However, it's still not easy because the hardest part is you have to take action. I can't force you to do anything that you're not willing to do. I can provide you the step-by-step blueprint. I can give you every single resource to streamline and make it more efficient. I cannot make you do what you need to do at the end of the day, though. And that is why it's so important, that commitment to following through with your promises.
For sure. And it's that click, that mindset shift. Something has to click in you to say, you know what, now is the time. Right. So it literally is that jump, that initial jump into the pool, that initial jump into whatever new experiences. You have to do that. There's no way possible someone can lead you there. Right. So again, if you're facing those challenges, again, you have to take action. Action will set you free and put you on a journey, and the purpose, and it will manifest in your life. The universe will provide all these answers in your life, but the journey has to start with you, and you have to take those intentional steps to take action. Right, brother?
And I mean, and I would say, I think the number one thing I've always done, and I tell people, like, regardless of what the outcome is, you have to take extreme ownership of your actions. If something goes right, something goes wrong, the results you don't always have control over, but you have extreme ownership of your actions. And that needs to be like, you cannot blame, if you can, you might have been wronged, right? And you might be a victim of something, but at the end of the day, if you don't take extreme ownership of what you can do maybe differently, or what you can do the next time, or what you could have done differently, then you're kind of going to end up in the same scenario. You have to take extreme ownership. So you take control of the actions that you're taking, regardless of the results. Usually the right actions lead to the right results. Not always, but you have a 0% chance of succeeding if you're not taking the right actions. Even if you take the right actions, you don't have 100% chance, but that's the only way you have a chance at all. So I love everything we're talking about here right now.
Accountability is so important. Now let's segue into some losses. And let me share one with you, just touching on the topic you were saying. I was in a call earlier with an attorney because I happened to be in litigation because of a bad investment, right? And going back to the accountability, right? Even though I didn't have fault into what happened, I still had to tell myself, what happened that you felt comfortable in doing what you did, right? Where did you go wrong, right? And I had to self-reflect on that. And I discovered the answer, because in prior transactions, I this is my cardinal rule: never wire money into people's LLC or private accounts, ever. And I was just reflecting, and that was something that had happened to me. I was like, why did you do that? And why were you comfortable in making that decision? And then I reverted, and I received the answer. And the answer was because you did it prior and it worked out properly. It didn't turn bad, right? So your subconscious was telling you, yeah, you can do it because you had great experiences, but you didn't know that this experience is going to turn out the way it did. So that was the lesson. And going back to accountability, even though, like you said, these things are not your fault, but where was there a misstep? There's something that you could learn from the actions that you took. And I was just reflecting, and it's kind of going back to what we're talking about, your accountability, and going back to your losses, right? And
let me hit that a little bit more, right? Because of the fact that you had positive results, you didn't do what we called in the military like a hot wash or AAR, after action report, where you review back and say, what did I do right? What did I do wrong? What can be better the next time? Because the results were in your favor. So you said, correct, I think we're good here. I can do it again. No worries. Until it wasn't. And it's like such a hard lesson to learn. I was forced to do it with the military and the government. It's like reflect back. Regardless of the results, reflect back and what could be done better every single time. So I think that's what it was. And that's what a lot of people end up doing. And then they get burnt tragically, like really bad. And it's like, well, what could I have done better? Even if the results ended up the way I wanted to, what could be better regardless? And that's how I think about literally every single investment that I bought. Everything that I do is what could be done better than next time? What could be slightly more efficient? What could be slightly easier? What could I have done to protect myself, my lenders, whoever, better, even one little thing at a time? And that's where it's like, that's where I'm constantly thinking, you know, the engineering mindset, iterating. What can I do a little bit better every time to make the process more simple, better? But that wasn't the way I always was, which let's talk about the losses then, right? Yeah. So I joined Sub 2 with 27 rentals, and I was already financially free at 27 years old. I had 27 rentals generating me right around $7,500 a month. I thought I was good, but in reality, I was actually very depressed. I was tremendously depressed once I hit financial freedom because I thought, wait a minute, I hit this number, but I'm not really enjoying what I'm doing. I don't really know my purpose. And the reason was at that time, I was used to the hardcore employee mindset. I had to do everything myself because that's what I saw in youth. That's what I saw when I went to school. That's what I saw at work. I had to do everything myself. Even though I had an agent, I was finding my own deals. Even though I had more enough cash flow and money to deploy it at my investments, I was doing my renovations. I was being my property manager. I was literally doing every single thing for 27 rentals. And the reason was I wanted to, first it was ingrained in me to act like that, just do it all. Look, why would I ever delegate? I can do it better myself or whatever. It's like, no delegation. I'm going to do it. And another reason was financially. I wanted to maximize my cash flow. If I'm managing my own tenants, that's 10% less I'm paying a private manager. If I'm doing my own renovations, I'm saving $500 for that. And it just depressed the crap out of it. Like, it was like, I have this thing that I thought was going to make me feel so good, but now I'm a kind of a slave to this business that I built. That's why lifestyle design is so important for me now, because it's like, I'm doing the thing that I thought I needed to do for the money to make me free. But then in reality, I don't have the time freedom that I was striving for. It's not just financial freedom. It's the time freedom was the thing I was lacking at that point. And that's where joining Sub 2, talking to Pace and joining Sub 2 changed literally everything for me. Just a couple of those reflection questions like Pace just asked, like, what really is the highest and best use of my time? What really is my avatar, my superpower? Like, what value can I add? Once I started doubling down on that, plus not trying to do everything individually and just going all in on the community aspect of Sub 2, not just like partnering with people and partnering for raising the capital for my deals. It's like also being a go-giver and helping other people who are 1 or 2 years behind me. That community element literally changed everything for me. Got an amazing business partner, changed the entire way that I do business. I focus on the only 2 inputs in my business where it's the highest and best use of my time. And that's what allows me to be as financially free as I am now and to scale my portfolio without dealing with the day-to-day crap that I hate dealing with. But I didn't know that I wasn't doing it right because there was no book, no podcast, anyone being transparent. And then talking to Pace, and he called me out and questioned me. It's like, well, you think you're free, but are you really free, or do you have a kind of a shitty job? It's like, oh my God, I created this shitty job. Not only I created my shitty job. Like, what am I doing here? And then the community for the support and to just get things done and enjoy the entire process. This last 2 years has been so much more enjoyable than the first 2. I'm grateful for the first 2.
Sure.
But the last 2 have literally just been so much more fun. Like, every part of it is so much more fun.
Yeah, you had to find your who's in that house, let's say.
100%. Right? That is like my loss. Once again, let's say the trauma, the loss turned into a superpower. And it's like, cool, that's another thing I can help people with because my mentor did that for me. Why can't I not help other people with the same struggle? Especially because Pace is so vision, so story, and he's got so many obligations. He's doing so many things. Well, I can help with my unique super ability of like, okay, the step-by-step, the breakdown of the process. Like left foot, right foot. Like, it's very much of that. That's the mentality. That's like one of the superpowers that I have. It's like, cool. Well, how do I add my own spin, my own flair to help people in conjunction with everything we're doing in Sub 2, Owners Club, all that amazing stuff. So I'm just leaning all in on that now.
Yeah. Knowing you a little bit, I kind of know your strengths and where you live at, let's say, per se, in your character. And that's kind of space where you're sort of like an engineer's background. You're very granular, your step-by-step approaches. You could, like you said earlier, you could literally take a person literally to the doorstep. All you have to do is open the door. So again, just keep expounding on those strengths. And like Pace said in a question, and just keep evolving, right? You keep evolving. It's always a process. It's a journey. It's not like one day, oh, it's here, it's done, right? It's an everlasting journey to kind of rediscover yourself or discover yourself.
Right. And that's what I'm literally dealing with now, because I've been so go for the first 30 years of my life. It's like, cool. I'm now learning more about myself than I ever have before, because I'm taking the time to do so, not working a lot, right? I mean, I'm still working a good amount, right? But I'm not working all day, every day. I'm not worried about financial stresses. How can I evolve myself? So then not only can I improve my life continually, right? We're always learning and improving. But how can I also help other people with the same journey? Because maybe not everyone has as much access to their mentor or like Pace that I do. So it's like, how can I help other people in the same journey? And that's really this exciting next part of my life, is like, just how can I do that more and more and more?
Yeah. And I love that you said that you got to 27 properties independently with no help, and you grinded it all out literally by yourself, right? So that's an incredible experience to say, even through all this success, I still wasn't feeling like a winner, or you were depressed, right? Because the way you was managing these properties and the way you were managing your time, and how how Pace noticed to say you just became a slave to your job, your new job that you created. And when you're in it, going back into your belief systems where you grew up, you thought this was the way to be, and you got to that point and you still wasn't happy, right? So it's incredible to say, wow, this guy got to 20 plus properties and he's still feeling a certain type of way. It's just to tell you that it's not in the purpose of acquiring these properties, is the mindfulness of the journey, the vision casting, the life that you want to plan out, and how it wanted to look, right? How do you want it to look?
Here's a complimentary piece to my loss too, right? Like I don't know if you've read the book, The Gap and the Gain, but I was so focused on the gap. What are the things I'm missing all the time? What do I need to do next? What do I need to do next? What do I need to do next? Without having gratitude for all the gains that I had over and over and over again. I was always focused on what's next, not ever reflecting back on, wow, I can't believe I did that. Wow, I can't believe I just learned that thing. I can't believe I took that action. I can't believe I bought that property. I can't believe I did it again. I can't believe I've gotten really good at, like, all these things I could have been grateful for and enjoyed along the journey. Instead, I was always focused on, let's just put a number like, oh, I have 100,000, I have 250,000, 500,000, a million. Like, instead of being grateful for every step of the journey, every success, I was always looking at, okay, well, I need 1 million. I need 2, I need 10. Like, it was so much living in the gap and how do I do more, rather than being grateful for everything that I'm doing every day and enjoying the entire process. Because there's no point of being, whether you're wealthy, whether you're whatever, there's no point of doing that and then you're old, and no shade to being old, right? But like, you've lived your whole life that way in the gap, and it's like you've never been grateful or enjoyed the journey. What was even the purpose behind it, right? Like, that's a huge part of it for me.
Yeah.
And
you're going to enjoy getting old one day. It's going to be a wonderful thing. That's the purpose.
My favorite part now is having a baby girl, and then that really adds time. She's 6 months old. Yeah. I can't believe how much. I mean, I can't believe a little over 6 months ago she wasn't here, but then every little step, every little thing she learns, and I get to be part of every single part of it. Like, I am so grateful for the life that I have, and the fact that I get to be so present in my child's life, where it's what I dreamed of as a child for myself. And now I'm like, oh my gosh, now I get to do that for me and my family.
You're living your dream.
Literally, I'm living my dream like 1,000,000,000%. And it's so amazing.
I could see it in your face, brother. I could tell.
I know. I can't even contain it. It's
it just radiates. That's beautiful. Congratulations to you. Now, that's another great segue. I have a part of the pod where I call the makings of a hero, right? Mm-hmm. Where we vision cast, where we look ahead, where we want to be, right? Where your business want to be. How do you want to be a service? Can you just tap into some of that as well?
Well, I love that you said makings of a hero, because thank you to my mentor, Pace. He helped me brand kind of the next iteration of what I'm going to be doing. I'm still buying real estate. I'm still buying multiple properties a month. I'm still raising money. But a big thing that I'm also adding into my business is I love helping people. Truly, I do. I love helping people. I've helped people for free for years. I've done six-week high ticket mentorships to people, getting them their first or next deal, leveraging creative financing, leveraging capital raising, leveraging more advanced strategies, whatever it is. But like I said, one of the sacrifices that I had to make was, well, if I really have this goal of helping 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 people directly achieve financial freedom, I need to do what I'm doing more scalably. And thus the super investors community was born. Once again, Pace thankfully branded me as a super investor. And when I really reflected on it, I love that. I love the super investor brand in itself. It's just so fun. But more than anything, I love super investors. I want to create a community of super investors who have a singular focus: financial freedom as safely and efficiently as possible, so that they can pursue whatever their heart's desires are. Because unfortunately, fortunately, whatever, money is the oxygen we need to be able to pursue our passions. If you are just struggling to make ends meet, you don't even have the time to reflect on, like, what's my higher purpose? How do I, give back to this cause or whatever? It's so hard if you're just worried about money itself. So essentially, it's like, if you become financially free and time free by doing it, leveraging the lessons that I've learned, then you can pursue whatever passions you have in life. And that is my super investors community, essentially very specific. It's a complimentary piece, let's say, to Sub 2, to Owners Club. It is the step-by-step blueprint to financial freedom through real estate investing, ideally leveraging little to none of your own money. Some people have money, they don't need to raise capital. But if you don't, even then you can still do it. And then I also, in addition to that paid, let's say, group coaching or mentorship, there's my free wealth through real estate community, teaching people how they can start generating wealth and financial freedom through real estate, even if they don't have maybe the money necessary to be able to buy and hold real estate. Maybe they do have capital and they want to be a lender and they want to own real estate with others or get a high interest rate return. Awesome. I teach you how to do that in that free community. Maybe you have time but don't have capital or the experience. Well, maybe you learn how to raise capital for other proven operators, and you generate some active income through that, allowing you then to be the one to buy and hold real estate. Same with something called bird dogging. Maybe you don't have the bandwidth right now to buy and hold real estate, but you connect with buyers and you help them figure out exactly what type of deals they want to buy. And then you help funnel those deals to them and you make active income from that. So it's essentially the wealth to real estate free community, primarily catered towards those with more time than money, or lenders who want to either get high interest rate return or ownership in great real estate investments. And then my super investors community, which we're growing and growing. I'm going to be capping it at the end of this month. So if you want to be a super investor, you have until the end of November. I'm just trying to do things in cohorts. You can always do it in the future, but I'm really focused on doing it in cohorts. And I want to help roughly the 70 to 100 people in there. We'll see by the end of the month, truly make massive strides towards financial freedom so they can do this over and over and over again. And that is where I feel like one of my biggest, highest purposes. I've always loved helping people. So why would I not help them, whatever their passions are post financial freedom? Why don't I help them with the hardest part, which is getting to become financially free, leveraging all of my lessons learned, all of my systems, my tools, my resources, literally everything, and weekly or twice a week coaching. Like, I'm literally there to help and support every single person achieve financial freedom. So that is between the two major things. I'm growing those things and putting myself more out there so people know it's possible. Like coming on your podcast, although I told you 21, at the same time, I have limiting beliefs sometimes, regardless of my real estate experience. So it's like, I am trying to put myself out there. That's something I'm fighting. That's something I'm dealing with. So I can put myself out there so I can be that, whether it's that inspiration, whether it's that guidance, whether it is that mentor to other people who need that support, who need that proof of concept, so they can do the same thing. Like, it's just putting myself more out there and then helping people more directly, especially in like more of a group setting, so I can help more people at one time.
That's incredible. And again, you're so needed. You're a piece of that puzzle that we need to fill that puzzle. The puzzle cannot be complete without a person like you, right? To fill this gap, to give so much value, to give so much of their time, or their spirit, or their heart, or their passion. So I appreciate you for doing that, right? Because so many people are going to prosper from these opportunities. And I love that you said that you're going to kind of cap it now, because, and I think it's a good idea, right, for now, because again, you want to then show proof of concept that these people can get across these hurdles. And once that happens, it's going to be then word of mouth. This is the place where you want to belong, right? So I love how you're moving intentionally in that way to kind of help the people that you kind of gathered already and lead them to the next step. So,
and I'm very like KPI or key performance indicator driven. And my only KPI truly for this community is, how many people have I helped make strides towards financial freedom? How much more passive income and wealth have they generated from when they joined to where they're at now? And that's the only, I don't care about the number of members. I don't care about anything like that. How many people who believed in me and wanted me to help them have I been able to actually help make massive strides for financial freedom? That's the only goal that I have. So everything I'm doing and dedicating to is how do I help them be more efficient, more easily, and more simply make strides towards financial freedom? Like, that's it. That's my only goal right now.
Yeah, dude, again, I just love being around you. I love to edify you. You're an incredible guy. Is there any parting wisdom that you'd like to impart on our audience who want to get started, or, just being on the journey, and, how they can contact you and connect with you as well?
Right. That's a great, so you have to learn. You have to learn how to, especially something new. You need a place to learn. And you can learn through YouTube. You can learn there's a bunch of free stuff. You can learn through my free community. There's a bunch of free information to learn, but then paying is going to expedite your journey. If you're paying for the right things, you're paying for mentors, you're doing all that good stuff. But at the end of the day, education means nothing besides you being really smart. And I had to learn that. We didn't even get into that, how it took me 200 deals analyzed before I bought my first ever deal, because all I was doing was learning and analyzing. What I wasn't doing was the most important part, was the action. So for every hour of learning, you need to get to 2 to 3 hours of action sooner rather than later, but you need to learn first and then you take that action. Like, you don't achieve anything without action. I mean, it sounds simple, but then people, including myself, are stuck in the paralysis by analysis phase for far too long. And then you take action. It's like, holy crud. This is now getting me the results that I want. So it's marrying action with education is how you become free.
Awesome. That breakthrough, so important, right? Again, Michael, share your social medias and where people can reach you and your community as well.
Right. So the number one place to reach me is Instagram. I love, if you send me a message, I love to respond back to you. Instagram at Michael Mnat, Michael Mnat. It's in the video as well. Everything is linked there. My YouTube, everything. I'm doing a live webinar on November 21st and then November 29th, I believe. You're more like, the links will be in there. All that good stuff's in there. I have a YouTube channel, Super Investors REI. So Super Investors Real Estate Investing. I have 2 communities on the school platform, Wealth to Real Estate, which is free, and then my Super Investors community, which is paid. It is literally the best investment you can ever make, like dollar for dollar. If your goal is financial freedom through buying and holding real estate, leveraging none of your own money, like, no questions asked. And that it's just because that's the way my brain works. So I provided this massive value to people, and everything that you're going to get from it is literally going to change your life within 90 days. So, like, don't believe me. I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's up to you at the end of the day, but that's all I can say. There's nothing comparable when it comes to education and step-by-step guidance. It's not like Sub 2 with the best community and Pace is literally the best mentor and leader. But when it comes to education and a step-by-step process, I'm pretty freaking good at that.
Okay.
I've just done this stuff in real time. While everyone else is trying to sell you a dream, I'm just trying to show you exactly what I've done and how you can do the exact same.
That's right. Again, people, this guy's such a wealth of knowledge. Using it, use his brain. He's there for it. Thank you again, Michael, for being on. Appreciate you so much.
Appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. And thank you for the call to action and in doing 20 plus podcasts and bringing me on to help share whatever I can. Hopefully people took a few things away. So thank you.
Sure. Thank you again. All right. It's a pleasure. Bye-bye.